football. It's personal between me and you, and I'm going to do you some serious harm, you big stiff idiot.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Hope you guys doing well wherever you're at in the world as you're watching this video. God bless everyone out there. But listen, man, there's still no official date, but they say, right? They say, they being the powers that be in boxing, that Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez is next. So fingers crossed, we're not being lied to, and we get a date, venue, and a time soon. But Caleb Plant was recently speaking to Fight Hub TV, so shout out to the fine folks at Fight Hub TV. And basically, he was speaking about the David Benavidez fight and how he's developing and his chemistry with Stephen Brennan Edwards. And he dropped a bit of a bomb in the interview, you know, so I wanted to kind of get into that and get my thoughts on it. But here's what Caleb Plant said word for word. He stated the following, and I quote, "Me and my dad, Brennan, we're working on a lot of things. Brennan has been a great addition to the team, great chemistry. He's definitely adding in his own spice and flavor to it, and it's going very well." He then stated, "Don't be surprised. Don't be, as far as knocking him out, like knocking out David Benavidez. He says, don't be surprised if Ronald Gavril could drop him. Then, you know." End quote. So, hey man, hey, shout out to Caleb Plant, man. I really want him to win the fight. I'm a big fan of his. Have been a big fan of him for like 7 years at least now. Been a fan of Caleb Plant longer than most people even know who he is. You know, truth be told, you know, awesome fighter. You know, great mindset. Obviously has the heart of a champion. Or has overcome a lot in his life. But you know, when last time the lights were the brightest for him was the Canelo fight, which was, you know, back in 2021, and you know, he did well. Like, don't get me wrong, he did well. He had his moments, but he folded in the back half of the fight, and that's my concern, is the stamina. Even in some of his best performances, like Jose Uzcategui, stamina. You know, these have been issues for him in the past, or maybe not stamina, because sometimes people say it's stamina, but maybe it was mismanaging his energy in the early rounds, because that's part of it too. Sometimes fighters don't have bad stamina; they just don't know how to conserve energy and save enough for the final stretch of a fight. So it could be that as well. But you know, listen, we saw in that Anthony Durrell fight, he was boxing very nicely. It was a bit frustrating because you know, boxing fans can get impatient, but he did a great job setting up that left hook. And Breadman, I think, has brought a nice calming influence to that corner. And if there was ever a coach, right? If there was ever a coach that I think would be perfect for a Benavidez fight, it has to be Stephen Brennan Edwards. Why? Because this is the same Stephen Brennan Edwards that was the trainer of Julian J-Rock Williams when he fought Jarrett Hurd. And I kind of remember going into that fight, you know, J-Rock was a fighter that had been knocked out. Like, he got stopped by, did he get stopped? I think he got stopped by, I can't remember if he got stopped by Charlo, but he got dropped in devastating fashion. And he lost. And there was questions about his durability going into the fight. And Jarrett Hurd was kind of like on a warpath. You know, he was this big, you know, he was the big black, he was the black Antonio Margarito. Just kind of barrels down on top of you and uses that size to his advantage. And when that happened, when they fought, we saw that Julian Williams had the tools, and he used them properly, and he put on a masterclass performance and became unified champion in the division. You know, so Breadman, I think, will have something very, very great for Caleb Plant. I think Stephen Brennan Edwards is going to have him very prepared for this fight. And listen, people can say what they want. I know there's a lot of Benavidez fans here on YouTube, and he's got a big fan base. But the reality is, Caleb Plant ain't lying. I know that was a long time ago, and David was younger, and he's matured a little bit as a fighter since that fight. But he's not lying. Like, if Ronald Gavril dropped his ass with a jab, then of course he could be dropped. I mean, look at, and I don't like being the resume guy, but let's just be honest, all right? A lot of these guys he's been fighting as of recently, guys like Kyron Davis, David Lemieux, these kind of guys. These guys aren't even 68 pounders. They're not super middleweights. So my issue for Benavidez, my worry, my concern from him, if I'm a Benavidez fan going into the fight, and I'm being objective, my concern would be, has he developed such a persona as the Mexican monster, and has he gotten so accustomed to just beating up on these smaller guys that now when you get a real 68-pounder who's elusive, who has been a champion, who is, at a great stage of his career, some would still say he's in his prime, when and if Benavidez hits him with, let's just say, the first couple combinations, if Caleb Plant is still there, does he have answers to get him up out of there, or maybe outbox him, because David he's tall and he's long. Does he have things in his toolbox that maybe we haven't seen? Now, you guys know a good friend of mine is Sean Tattel from Fight Hype. We talk at least every 2 days. We talk multiple times a week about life and boxing, and he's like the David Benavidez. He's been banging and jumping David Benavidez, and he's been telling me, he's been adamant that David does have extra tools. So if we're gonna see him, I think it's gonna be in a fight like this, because Caleb Plant's gonna come prepared. If you just listen to Stephen Bretman Edwards talk about boxing, he's probably one of the smartest people I've ever heard talk about boxing. That's an active trainer right now. He's really, really smart when it comes to talking about his fighters, other fighters, game plans, styles. He understands these things on a very deep level, and I have great respect for his knowledge of the sport. And I do think it's going to be a very interesting to see how Caleb Plant kind of approaches the fight. So yeah, that's the news, man. Caleb Plant believes he has that ammunition to hit David Benavidez and fold him up like a blue steel chair, like The Rock, like Chris Jericho, like all the WWF stars of yesteryear. So it should be a really, really great fight. I'm hoping maybe this weekend on the Tank Davis Hector Garcia card, I'm praying to God we get some sort of formal announcement, like date, time, venue. I don't want to just hear that they agreed in principle. None of that BS. Give us a date and time and venue, so that people like myself, who love being at these fights, and the great fans and supporters of the sport, can make the reservations and go support David Benavidez, go support Caleb Plant, because this is a fight that we've been talking about here on True School Sports for 3-4 years now. We want to see it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Caleb Plant has enough to stop David Benavidez? And let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. For more great boxing content just like this video, click right here and make sure you subscribe. Much love from sunny South Florida.